Hey guys, I'm Jordy, and this is your short guide to the Yogg Zero Light, aka Alone in the Darkness encounter.
Your will is no longer your own.
Now we're just going to talk about Phase 3 in this video, as Phase 1 and 2 are nearly identical to the 1 light variation. You're just going to do 10% less damage. We take 3 healers for this and 2 tanks. 2 Holy Paladins really shine here, with a beacon on one tank and spamming Holy Light on the other, as well as the tank cooldowns they can provide. Additionally, Warlocks are amazing for DPS on Yogg, while DKs work on the adds. In this comp, we brought 5 Warlocks and 4 DKs, but I imagine as you get more gear, this comp won't be necessary. Okay, so let's talk about Yogg's abilities in this phase. First, the things you're used to. Lunatic Gaze. Don't look at Yogg when he's casting it, nothing new here. Second, Deafening Roar. Like in the 3 light or below variations, you've got to pop Aura Mastery on these in order to prevent your raid getting silenced. This is critical as you can't afford to lose the damage or healing. The timing is just too tight. There will be only 2 of these in this phase, so plan ahead. Alright, and on to the interesting stuff. Shadow Beacon. This is the main mechanical change in Zero Light. As the adds no longer die because Thorm isn't smiting them at 0 HP, Yogg will cast Shadow Beacon on 3 of them the first time and then 5 the second time, which puts a big green mark over their heads. 10 seconds from this mark being applied, he will throw big purple balls of energy at these mobs, which will put a strong hot over them and any other hostiles in a radius around them. The goal here being to have someone taunt and run these mobs away from every other mob and Yogg Saron, so that when the hot explosion goes out, nothing gets healed except for the one mob that it's applied to. And since these mobs do more damage the more HP they have, if you fail this, your tanks will almost assuredly be killed, as the damage will overwhelm you quickly and you'll lose them. Otherwise, that's it. It's really pretty simple. It's just executing that's the tricky part. Okay, so as you transition, you want the whole raid to stack up on the back or the side of Yogg so as to prevent parries. As each ad comes in, your tanks will take turns taunting them and getting them into the stack. As with the 1 light variety, you just blast Yogg while doing damage to the adds. Your melee mostly work on the adds while your casters blast Yogg, cleaving when possible. You'll see a Deafening Roar go out, a few Lunatic Gazes, and then Yogg will telegraph that he's preparing to unleash Empowering Shadows. This is when the Immortal Guardians are marked. 3 separate mobs will get a green mark over their head, and you need 3 people pre-assigned to taunt and run these out of the group in separate directions. We use Skull, X, and Square for this, using a weak aura we've built, but depending on what you use, your marks may be different. Your taunters shouldn't worry about taking too much damage, as when these mobs have 0 HP, they do next to nothing, so just taunt them out of the group and go in the direction that you're assigned to. If you did it right, the adds will be out of the stack and Yogg will toss the purple healing towards them, it will land and explode, and then very quickly they need to run back into the stack where the tanks need to taunt those mobs back onto them. Because as they heal, they will begin to do massive damage and only the tanks will be able to survive. Have your tanks pop a cooldown here. Use a paint sup, something to get through this. It's a lot of damage and you can't afford anyone dying. Now you continue this way, getting the mobs back to low HP and blasting Yogg as best you can. A Deafening Roar will go out. This one is absolutely critical to get an Aura Mastery out for, and keep doing damage to the adds as they come in, working to get them to 0%. Your tanks will be covered in mobs and need as much damage on the adds as they can. Alright, another telegraph of preparing to unleash Empowering Shadows. This is the critical one, and now there will be 5 heals going out. We now have the addition of a triangle and moon mark. Each of these will go diagonally. If done correctly, all 5 of these people will run out of the raid, the heals landing on just the ones targeted and not overlapping any of the other adds or Yogg, and then those 5 need to run back into the raid where the tanks will taunt or the hunter will feign with a real attempt at getting them back on the tanks. Now this is where the pain begins. Your tanks are going to be nearly impossible to heal. So much add damage is going to be pushing into them that you need as many cooldowns as you can to prevent them from dying. There are a lot of fancy things you can do here. Bop AoE taunt from a Feral Druid or a Warlock, target dummy spam, D-sack, shield walls, whatever you can do to line up and prevent the tanks from dying. Your DPS should do what they can to get the adds back to low HP. Your tanks can absolutely survive the damage if all the adds HP are low, but 8-ish high HP adds will kill them otherwise. And if you survive that, you should be close to a kill. Keep going. Tanks, pick up the new adds, push Yogg's HP lower and lower, and then as you run out of cooldowns, your tank should boot away from Yogg and drag everything as far as they can. If he's a paladin, you can bubble, which will send everything back to the stack, and then click it off before it gets to the stack, which should then put everything back onto you. Do whatever you can to ping pong them and prevent that last shadow beacon from hitting Yogg and full burn him. And around 800,000 HP remaining, down he goes. Congrats on your Mimiron's head mount and one of the most difficult encounters in Ulduar. Alright, and that's it for me. Like I said, if you missed the full Yogg guide, you'll want to know all that stuff too. I've linked that somewhere on here, so just hit that if you're interested. Also, big thanks to my Patreon and YouTube members. If you want to support me like these great folks do, the links are below. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you guys in Ulduar.